Hi, welcome to Gene Rants. I'm Gene, and welcome to day 30 of, as I'm recording this, it is day 30 of the government shutdown, or as I call it, the Schumer shakedown. You're watching this a day after I recorded it. All indications, as I stand here today, are that the shutdown will still be going, or the shakedown will still be going on as you're watching this a day after I recorded it. So for you, we'll assume day 31 of the Schumer shakedown. And it is a Schumer shakedown because, well, it's a Democrat shakedown too. It's all about appeasing the far left of the party, showing that the Democrats in the Congress, especially specifically in the Senate, because the House has already voted, but showing that they are using their leverage to fight Trump, to show that they're fighters. But I predict they're going to have to cave sooner or later. You're already starting to see cracks. Largest federal employee union, 800,000 members, 881,000, something like that, calling on not the Republicans, but the Democrats to vote to open up the government. 5 Democrat votes would open it, or to be fair, 4 Democrat votes and Rand Paul, who is the only Republican to have voted with the Democrats against opening the government. So that's where we are right now. It's day 30, so we've been going through a month of this. Now the question is whether, a lot of it, as I said, there's already cracks showing. I saw an interview just earlier today with a Democrat senator saying, well, John Thune, he's the Republican majority leader in the Senate, has said that he would be happy or willing to discuss the Democrats' concerns about extending these enhanced, supposedly temporary. Well, that's what they will be if they're not extended. These extra Obamacare subsidies, but that's so. The senator, I forget his name, but he's saying we should consider that. We should consider that. Thune says that the Republicans are willing to discuss this issue once the government reopens. But the senator's talking about it as if it's a new deal, and it's not. That's been the deal all along. That's the regular business of the Senate, to discuss issues and propose legislation and vote on the legislation. Of course, they'll discuss it when the government reopens. That was the idea. That was always the idea. Continuing the resolution, which doesn't have any, no Democrat priorities and no Republican priorities. It just keeps, and ironically, it's the Biden budget that would just be maintained without any change. The same budget that the Democrats voted for multiple times when Biden was president. What is different now, except that Trump is president and that the Democrats are feeling the heat from their far left base, who they're afraid of. Chuck Schumer specifically, which is why I call this the Schumer shakedown. He's worried about being primaried by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Well, as I said yesterday, the day before this vlog, that Chuck, you're going to be primaried anyways, and you're going to lose. All the polls show that you will lose, and Alexandria Ocasio will be taking the oath of office for New York senator in 2029. So there you go, January 3rd, 2029. So you might as well do the right thing, Chuck. But you also have Kathy Hochul, the government. She's afraid of being primaried too. People don't know. She endorsed, Mamdani, the commie. They're calling him the communist, 34-year-old by now. I think he had a birthday. Never had a regular job. What they call a Nepo kid these days, entitled child of wealthy parents who apparently hate America, but that's another story, as I believe Mamdani himself does. But she's afraid of being primaried. She is going to be primary. There's a far left lieutenant governor, far to the left of her. She's afraid of being primaried by him. So that's why she endorsed Mamdani a few days ago, even though Mamdani has not returned the favor and endorsed her. Obviously, he's going, this is how panicked the Democrats are. So you have this governor, Democrat governor, endorsing the mayor, Mamdani, but Mamdani is going to be endorsing, you can bet on this, especially if he becomes mayor, will be endorsing this lieutenant governor, whose name I don't recall offhand, but the far left governor who is running against the current governor who endorsed him, Mamdani. And then you have these other senators across the country that are worried and representatives too worried about being primaried by people far to the left of them, especially, I would imagine, these older office holders, such as Chuck Schumer. He's in his 70s, I believe. He's approaching 80, and there are others that are even older than he, and they're worried about being primaried by younger, more radical candidates. And I'm pretty sure that's going to happen anyways, especially since the Democrats are going to lose on this government shutdown. And you're going to see a couple of videos right now that are going to, let's go to the videos right now. So this one is John Thune, starting with him, making this, making the basic argument that is, well, we'll see. I'm going to show you a poll result. That will be the second video, because the idea is, which party is being hurt the most by this, or helped the most or hurt the most by this government shutdown? Specifically, how are the Republicans being affected by this? Because that's the whole point of this, that people will start to suffer, and that as they suffer, people will blame the public will blame the Republicans. But here is the problem with that. Here's John Thune.
What's been said by some of the Democrat leadership here, just in the last few days since the government actually shut down, that, of course, is the Democrat leader, Senator Schumer, who said every day gets better for us, commenting about the government shutdown. And my simple observation is, better for who? For you? Because you think you're winning politically? What about the air traffic controllers? What about the TSA agents? What about the American troops? What about our Border Patrol agents? What about the people who work in this building? What about the 40 million Americans that are going to not get SNAP benefits starting on Saturday if the government doesn't open up? But every day gets better, according to Senator Schumer. And then, of course, this last week, there was the House Democrat whip, who said, of course, there will be families that are going to suffer, but it is one of the few leverage times we have. Of course, there are families that are going to suffer. Yeah, true. But doesn't matter, because we got leverage. Then, of course, we have a third one here, one of our colleagues here in the Senate, the senator from Delaware, who said this in an interview: frankly, this is our only moment of leverage. And although a very unpleasant tool to use. Yeah, it's unpleasant. It's unpleasant unless you're a Democrat who thinks that this gives you a moment of leverage.
So as you just saw, the Republicans are just repeating what the Democrats have been saying. You have Chuck Schumer saying that this gets better for us every day that it goes on. That's his assumption, that the Republicans are being hurt and it's helping them. And if people, those were the other quotes. We are now, several by now, because it's not just, I don't think it's just the ones that Thune said, showed in that graphic, but you're having multiple Democrats admitting that they understand that people are suffering, but it's the only leverage they have. And, that's very cynical and it's very cruel, but also it's very false because the same what's keeping this government shut down is the Democrats filibustering in the Senate, denying the 60 votes that would be needed to open, or because they're filibustering. Otherwise, 51 votes would be enough. So they're filibustering, and that's why the government is shut. But they would still have that power if the government reopens and then start talking and discussions start about whether to extend these additional subsidies, and if yes, for how long, and what the Republicans will want in return, which I predict will be major reforms of Obamacare. So that's where they are. So what they want is ridiculous. What they want right now is, because, as I showed the other day, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, at a press conference, these daily press conferences since the shutdown happened, that the Republicans have been holding, that he said that it's a complicated issue, and the Democrats want the Republicans just to straight, with no negotiations, just to agree to extend these subsidies and other things too. A lot of this USAID, these funds for LGBT awareness and LGBTQ awareness in Latin American countries, and various these kind of projects, stuff that they want a lot of the funding that was cut out, these ridiculous programs cut out in the big beautiful bill, to be restored, and they just want a straight agreement to that in order to open the government. Now they say they want to sit down and negotiate about it, but if they sit down and negotiate, the government stays shut down while they're negotiating. This goes on and on and on, and it's just another indication of how ridiculous they're being and why they're being hurt. You're gonna see more and more. Well, 41 million people will be going. I'm recording this on Thursday. Starting Saturday, I believe, the food stamp people, the SNAP welfare, that the food assistance that poor people would be getting, that's going to be stopped. And you're also seeing videos. I am not going to put one up there today. Maybe I'll make this a separate vlog. But several social media, TikTok videos of food stamp recipients saying that that's what it really is. They changed the name to SNAP, as Democrats also often do, supplemental nutrition, something or other, AP, to make it look more palatable than it is, these programs. Just like calling the unaffordable, bankrupting Obama Affordable Care, the Unaffordable Care Act, calling it the Affordable Care Act. Well, the same thing here, but videos of people saying that we're going to just loot the stores. If we don't get our welfare payments, we're just going to go into stores and we're just going to take what we want. And that's if that actually happens, that's going to put additional pressure on the Democrats. So this is a lose-lose situation for them, and they're banking on the fact that this will hurt the Republicans. And that's the question: is it? Who is being hurt? Here's the second video. Harry Enton, polling guy, data guy at CNN.
Yeah, you might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt the Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give, and electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Now, we say their position is getting better. With whom?
Yeah, okay, with whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, change in the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus pre-shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle, or something could rally those in the middle but alienate the base. But the truth is, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the Republican brand has actually gotten better among independents, and it's also gotten better among Republicans as well, that Republican brand when it comes to those in Congress. So again, what's the electoral reason that Republicans would give in at this point?
And Democrats, of course, they have their eyes on the midterm elections. Yeah.
So you see, my Democrat friends, you are being hurt. The Republicans are getting more popular. Their approval is going up the longer this goes on. And I predict the longer this goes on, that the Republicans' position will improve even more, and Democrats who were already they were already pretty much in the toilet, their ratings are going to go down even more. And then the midterms will be coming up, and I don't think that the Republicans, when they start running their campaign ads, are going to let the Democrats forget this, and they'll be saying, well, this is what they'll have to say. They'll say the government, because they will get nothing for this. They will just have to vote straight to reopen the government. It's a clean bill, and you're going to have Republicans in their ads saying, look what happened. The Democrats shut down the government for however many days this turns out to be, or weeks, or even months, who knows. And they did it. What did they get for it? Nothing. They just put us through all this misery, or all these federal workers put them through all this misery for nothing. Are these the kind of people do you want governing? And that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Your comments always welcome in the comment section below the video. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.